If ever there was a time for the extrajudicial killing.
When you're a serial, I mean, 1 or 2 kids, all right, we'll let you slide a little bit. But when you get to the serial child molester,
yeah, golly. So, Tony, I'm going to quiz you for a minute here. I wanted to see your knowledge when it comes to celebrities. Let me see if I can find the lead for this. I'm not going to give you a lot of information, but I'll give you a little bit.
Well,
because you should know. You should be following this stuff.
I am very well known for pretending like I don't follow this stuff.
Oh, okay. So you might have me. We'll see.
This game is Tony's.
You know where that's from?
No, I don't.
From Lawnmower Man, the Stephen King adaptation. Well, it's not him. It's very loosely based on the book.
What about those graphics?
That was good for back then, man.
Yeah, it's scary that was good at some point in time. I mean, everything was good at a certain point in time.
That is true. That's very true. All right. First up on the list, I want you to classify these people. Where do you think they are on the political spectrum? So left or right, or you can get more specific if you want to or no. But first up on the list, and I will open each one of these with a little clip here, if I may. This is where I first was introduced to Jane Fonda.
Flat back, straight legs, bounce, bounce, bounce.
Classic here, Jane Fonda's workout video.
Bounce, bounce, and pull down. 2, 3, 4.
Not hard to understand why this was extremely popular at the time.
8 and swing.
This used to appeal to us before the internet.
It's still pretty appealing. I don't know, man.
4, 5.
It's actually a good workout if you go through the whole thing. There's some good yoga in here and some good
Now turn right. 1.
sort of like old people cardio.
Yeah.
Left. 1, 2.
She's really limber.
4 right. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. 1.
What's weird is how human posteriors have evolved to get larger over time.
3, 4.
As this must be the early 90s.
2, 3.
I'm going to say mid-late 80s. I'm going to say mid-80s. Yeah. Leg warmers. I don't think leg warmers were a thing in the 90s.
Early 90s, maybe.
Hands way out.
You could be right, though. I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
She's in good fucking shape.
Good.
Look at her back, dude.
Yeah. Do it, baby.
8 more. 1. High on your toes.
Yeah, she's got some definition.
5, 6, 7, 8. Watch your hands back. Bend your knees. Rest them against
You're on the
your
green
elbows.
over to the left.
Reach out the inner thigh and bounce.
Doing
she
the
got
wrong
some-
thing.
Little bounce. 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 Bounce.
There's Jane Fonda enjoying herself,
Get it, honey.
feeling herself there. Jane Fonda, where's she at on the spectrum?
Do I have to base my guess on what I know about Jane Fonda or just her working out?
On what you know about Jane Fonda. I want to
based on how she works out, I think she's definitely a lefty. Most Republicans are. I don't know. There's that's a whole different thing. I was going to go into the distinction between out of shape and in shape Republicans. The in shape ones are generally all military. The out of shape ones are all the ones that wish they were in the military.
Interesting. Well, women can't, in Republican circles, women can't be in the military, right?
As God intended, yes. Okay. All right. So Jane Fonda, I've got to put her on the spectrum. I know some things about Jane Fonda. I'm going to Slumdog Millionaire you here. Did you ever see that movie?
No, I haven't. I think I should, though.
He knows the answers to the questions. Not to say that I know the answer, but I do. He knows the answer, but he makes all these like weird connections from things that happened in the past, and that's how he knows what the answer is.
Okay.
So, we live near I live near Fort Knox. Fort Knox is a military base. There's a lot of ex-military around here. In Radcliffe, there is a movie theater. The movie theater is run by a man who is ex-military. There was a Jane Fonda movie that come out 2006, 2005. She had not put out a movie in a long time. Apparently, she'd been too busy doing workout videos. This movie theater made national headlines for not wanting to show her movie. because of some stuff Jane Fonda had done back in the day that put her career on hold and upset a bunch of people, particularly military people, where she had posed with North Vietnamese during the Vietnamese War. So I think that there are people like our astute Radcliffe cinema owner that would probably classify her as a commie. I would not. I would probably classify her as like a Clintonite Democrat, maybe Jill Steinish Green Party type. I can't imagine her actually being a commie, but I could be wrong. Tell me, is she a commie?
Well, she earned the nickname Hanoi Jane for the stunt you're talking about, where she traveled to North Vietnam, who were being bombed by the Americans for voting the wrong way in a fair election. Yeah, this particular video was a UNICEF fundraiser. She re-uploaded this. It looks like it's been remastered a little bit too, this workout video. But yeah, does like liberal activist work. But I think, if the revolution started tomorrow, she'd be up there with a hammer and sickle. She's a commie at heart.
Be out there with the glorious finger of our comrade Stalin right here.
Indeed. You got that one totally correct. First one, so a little easy.
All
but,
right. Yeah, it was easy.
Strange connection to that factoid, though, I have to say.
I swear
Radcliffe
to God.
Cinema made refused to show her movie, huh?
The marquee outside Showtime Cinemas in Radcliffe says, no Jane Fonda movies. No Jane Fonda movie in this theater. This was the film Monster-in-Law from 2005 because of the activist role the actress took during the Vietnam War.
What did she do wrong? These people don't understand history, man. Even if you don't like communism, whatever you think about it, I mean, supporting people being brutalized, even if it's your country doing it, I mean.
She was not supporting the troops, James. You know that. I know that. And Jane Fonda knows that.
Oh, Lord almighty. All
their
right.
Their feelings were hurt.
Here we go.
Nice outfit. What can I do for you?
I'm not falling for this cutie pie act of yours. You're not some innocent little sophomore. I'm onto you. All this voodoo stuff, I'm gonna tell everyone that you're some kind of a witch.
I am? That's ridiculous.
I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too.
You really are a witch. And I'm gonna tell everyone.
Wait, Katie, come back, you can't! Come back!
You who lives to impress, change back into your poodle pest.
All right. This, of course, is Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is a little bit harder, maybe. We'll see. Melissa Joan Hart, where's she at on the spectrum?
I never watched Sabrina.
How about Mean Girls she was in? What else she's been in?
I don't know. I know she was popular back in the early and mid-90s.
She made the news for some controversy with her political beliefs, which is why she's on the list here.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going off of right now. First off, she was very pretty. She's blonde with blue eyes. Am I right there? Actually, I know she's blonde.
It's hard to tell if she's naturally blonde, but she's there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very pretty. I'm guessing hasn't aged super well. I think Miss American heartthrob like this, and of course she also made a lot of money back in the 90s, probably got those conservatives in her ear at a certain point. I imagine that they corrupted her. They wanted somebody like her. You know, she was going to be the next Chuck Norris, the next big Republican star.
Sarah Palin.
Melissa Joan Hart. She's also suspiciously similar to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Three names.
Three names. So, I mean, not saying anything, I'm just saying, and also made controversy in the news. Obviously, the liberals own the media, so any controversy would have to be because of a conservative statement she made. Facts. All right, I'm going to say she is a Republican.
Well, you're kind of close. She's fairly reserved online. She doesn't talk about politics a whole lot these days, but she has previously endorsed Bob Dole, Mitt Romney, and most vigorously, she supported Gary Johnson. She joined his campaign in 2016. Not sure how much you know about Gary Johnson, but I would love to watch this clip and get your reaction to Gary Johnson here. Quite a figure.
He was on Rogan, I believe.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
This is a Guardian interview.
Yours, which has been garnered most attention. Could you just kind of summarize it for us in a nutshell?
Well, that there be certainty, and neither Bill Weld nor myself in our 2 terms each as governors raised taxes a penny. So there's a certainty. Taxes will not go up. Look, we're not getting elected king or dictator. If Congress passes tax reduction, tax simplification, look, I sign on to it. But I also recognize that government picks winners and losers, that crony capitalism is alive and well. And having been governor, I vetoed a lot of legislation that was going to give unfair advantage to companies that already had unfair advantage.
But that's not your tax policy, is it? I mean, your tax policy is to abolish income tax, abolish corporation tax, and abolish the IRS.
If I could wave a magic wand, I would eliminate income tax, corporate tax, and I would replace it with one federal consumption tax. I put the fair tax out there as a template for how to dot the I's and cross the T's to accomplish one federal consumption tax. I'm pretty versed on the consumption tax, on the fair tax, and how they actually accomplish things like that it is regressive, for example.
I mean, I've looked and searched for any credible economist who would think it's
How would it accomplish things like it is regressive?
Abolish the IRS.
It would accomplish being regressive.
Replace it with
I think he meant to say
one large
not
sales
regressive.
tax.
Yeah.
And think that makes sense.
Well, like I say, we have a difference of opinion.
I'm not saying that you and I disagree. I'm saying most of the world's major economies, most of the world's major economists disagree with you.
Look, I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue, really.
But it's not a question of arguing.
Look, I came out for the legalization of marijuana. Let me just use that as an example. And I will tell you that I had people in my face for years and years and years talking about how stupid and how idiotic it was that we should allow marijuana to be legal.
Yeah, that's Gary Johnson.
But that was a point that you could argue. You could argue why marijuana should be legalized. You can't argue your tax policy, apparently. Huh.
First of all, don't worry about the taxes. Don't worry about that. I'm trying to legalize marijuana. Just be happy with that.
Yeah.
Second of all, he is...
Don't you want some weed?
Weed, man. Second of all, he's obviously murdered somebody. He has anger issues, man. Did you see how quickly he changed?
Oh, yeah. He's got
some bodies.
He's got that little bit of a vacant look in his eyes too. Like, he's always a little bit somewhere else. He's back there in the woods that night when his girlfriend just got too mouthy with him.
Well, just the speed at which his demeanor changed from like normal interview to like restraining from hitting this guy. Just that anger switch.
Oh, if I was that guy, I definitely would have felt a little. I think it was threatening. That was a threatening demeanor. It kind of stiffened up and got a little bit closer. And
the veins popping out.
Yeah, I know that look.
All right. So you were close on that one. She's a libertarian.
Okay.
Was it Joan Hart? Next up.
We want the truth.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. No truth handler, you. Bah, I deride your truth handling abilities.
Will you get to the point?
Yes, only I could have executed such a masterpiece of electoral fraud. And I have the records to prove it. Here, just look at these. Each one a work of Machiavellian art.
But why?
Because you need me, Springfield.
You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. This, of course, is Kelsey Grammer, Frasier himself, doing the voice of, the hell's his name? Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob.
Here.
Yeah.
Where is Kelsey Grammer on the spectrum?
Kelsey Grammer. I know this is Frasier, obviously.
I'll give you a little bit of help here. He grew up, he came from a working class background. He did many years as a waiter in a restaurant. He talks about it in interviews.
Okay, so he's got the proletariat bona fides down pat. Got the background, all that. Like I said, no, he was Frasier. He plays the kind of upper class, snooty. Was Frasier, but I barely remember that show. I know he was also on 30 Rock. On 30 Rock, he played Frasier, but he was also a secret spy.
Didn't watch that one.
Probably. Oh, it was fantastic.
Was it?
One of the best sitcoms.
Frasier was good.
I never watched Frasier. I watched Frasier, but I didn't really ever get into it. I don't know why, but I feel like he said some crazy right-wing shit at a certain point that the liberal-controlled media called him out on, as if he were some type of bad person for not wanting to pay taxes or something like that, or wanting to have lower taxes. But I feel like he just played Frasier too well. Like he's basically, he was channeling Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham, something like that. Just old rich white guy living in a beautiful apartment. So yeah, I'm going to go with maybe not Republican, because I don't feel like he would want to define himself that narrowly and associate himself with, you know, the likes of Melissa Joan Hart / Marjorie Taylor Greene. But yeah, right winger. Probably right wing on social issues too, which is kind of odd, I think, in this day and age to be really right wing on social issues.
Well, Frasier was a gay lead. He played a gay lead all the way back then.
Was he gay?
Frasier, yes.
I didn't know that. Huh.
But yes, of course, you're right. You have a memory that didn't fail you. You must have seen an interview with him at some point, because you are correct. He is a right winger, sort of. You know how these actors are. They don't really understand politics that well, but there's this thing where when working class people make it, they feel like anybody can make it. It wasn't luck, it was hard work, right?
Yeah.
Seems like what happened with Frasier here.
Yeah, poor guy.
I don't know actually what it is.
What would be the first thing you would do, though, as a what could you do in the political world that we live in?
I think you got to figure out how to make something happen. That's all.
Oh.
And you either choose
you go.
manipulation or you choose
Didn't think
the
of
truth.
that.
I mean, I would try to choose the truth. And, you know, unfortunately, the truth doesn't sell things very well. I mean, honestly, Democrats and Republicans aren't that far apart in terms of what their real vision is. We want good things for everybody. We want prosperity and nice things to happen. And actually, we want to be responsible for it ourselves. I don't think everybody wants the government to take care of every problem they have. I don't believe that. But that's the story we're selling right now. That's what we're fighting in. You know, that's the language of it. I think you know, Thomas Jefferson was the guy that talked about, you know, every time government gets bigger, individual rights get smaller, and I really don't think people want that. But
So that's really his thing here. This statement he makes is why I wanted to play this clip. This is a very common sort of misunderstanding or just sort of contradiction in conservative thought. He's talking about he believes that people don't want governments to help them. And he's using this to justify his conservative beliefs, which doesn't actually make sense when you think about it, because that's what Marxists think. Marxists think that people want to do meaningful, productive work and have fulfilling jobs and help produce for society. It's conservatives who think people are fucking freeloaders and you have to crack the whip to get them to work.
Yeah, it's just it's this conservative narrative. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with what he said. The people don't want government to help them. I think that's true for the most part. You know, people want to have a sense of that they're doing things on their own. But it's once you put it in the context of a particular narrative that you kind of see like that.
What's the second half of that? So therefore, we shouldn't help out single mothers? Like those, you know what I mean?
Or that is the context of the conversation, that's just all you or I are talking about, is that we should just have the government take care of everything for everybody. And that's of course, that's not the conversation. Like it's literally kind of like a last resort saying, or maybe not last resort, but certainly not first resort. You know, I would like for corporations to pay people well enough to where, you know, to be benevolent and equitably distribute the wealth that they produce, and for there not to be any need for government to step in and take taxes out to help pay for the people that they employ. But it's just an unfortunate fact of the situation that we have to.
Well, I'm sure all the elderly and disabled people would love to be productive members of society, but, you know, they don't have that option.
No, they don't have that option.
All righty. Yeah, I thought that was... It's very rare that there's such a clear point being made like that. That's just obvious contradiction in ideology. He seems to have the right idea, but yeah.
He seems to be like a smart guy, too.
Yeah,
but I think it kind of goes like that. He's just been kind of infected by that, like we were talking about with Tim Pool and Rogan. He's just kind of been infected by that right-wing framing of certain issues and the talking points, and he's kind of taken those to heart a bit, maybe a bit too much.
Well, he's on TV. Conservatives typically, when they're on TV like this, they'll make a pretty milquetoast sort of argument, but when they're behind closed doors or they're talking with other conservatives, that's when they get radical.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
can see that too. Yeah, you are in Hollywood. You can't be too. I think that was one of the things he cried about was he was getting he was losing jobs as being a Republican in Hollywood. Okay, that's what it was.
Actually, in this interview, he starts off by complaining about the fact that everybody's out to get him. He's a victim. He's being targeted, and all these type of.
I think I remember that.
All these conservatives in Hollywood all say the same shit, right?
Thank you on behalf of all our fans across America, and thank you for recognizing the passion and the potential power of those
Dude,
fans.
He sounds like Obama.
Who will no doubt help
he does, don't he?
The next president of the United States.
Holy shit, he does.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
He puts way more gusto into that these days.
America's best known former high school wrestling
they're like
coach,
90-year-old people. This is the RNC.
The Honorable
No,
Dennis
you
Hastert.
just smell. You got really belt it. Like today, he'll belt it out.
He'd be blowing hearing aids, man.
Yeah, blow him.
This audience. All right, so this lovely gentleman, ex-Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, under George W. Bush, he was ex-Speaker of the House. Served 13 months in 2016 for charges relating to, according to the federal judge who was presiding over the case, quote, being a serial child molester. Yeah.
Well, judge not lest ye be judged, James.
I don't know if that's applicable in this particular. If I do some shit like that, I should be judged. Cops can come kill me for that one. Fuck.
Yeah, no kidding.
If ever there was a time for the extrajudicial killing.
When you're a serial, I mean, one or two kids, all right, we'll let you slide a little bit. But when you get to the serial child molester,
golly.
He looks the part too.
Where is The Rock on the spectrum?
Oh man, I am surprised. Well, I don't know. This was 2000, so that's a long time ago.
He did the RNC and the DNC, so just
he did both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm going to put on my Republican, my QAnon cap right now to diagnose this situation. The Rock is popular.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put on my Kelsey Grammer hat. He's very popular. A lot of people like him. He gets all sorts of good movies in Hollywood. He's had a very long-lasting career. This could only happen if he was a Democrat that works for the cultural Marxists.
Good thinking.
So, because obviously a Republican that eschews the control of the cultural Marxists would be kicked out.
Cultural Marxists.
Would be kicked out of Hollywood and would not be given roles in the Jungle Book.
It's such a contradiction in terms because culturalism has nothing to do with Marxism. It's like completely opposed. It's so contradictory.
But yeah, I'm going to say he's I think The Rock is, I feel like he's mostly, he maintains an image of being apolitical, but he's probably like pretty, I guess what you would commonly call a centrist, milquetoast Democrat.
That's pretty accurate. Your reasoning is definitely sound in terms of how you got to your conclusion. The conclusion's a little wrong. He's basically just an opportunist. He's postures himself to be a politician. He's actually mentioned many times that he wants to run for president. He was definitely more conservative earlier on, but he took a pretty strong position during BLM in support of the BLM protests, surprisingly. Or maybe not surprisingly. I don't know. It's pretty popular. It was polled pretty popular in the beginning across the country. BLM did.
Yeah.
Where is our leader? Where are you? Where is our leader at this time? At this time when our country is down on its knees, begging, pleading.
I was at Mar-a-Lago playing golf.
Could you imagine the level of self-importance that these fucking actors have?
Why is his
You
fucking
think they
head
need
so
to-
pointy? Look how pointy
I
he is.
don't
He's
know.
got a cone head going on here.
He looks like he's gotten really pale on that too. Like you look at the RNC video you just showed, like he's almost black. And this, he's very white looking.
I think this is Instagram though. Instagram filters.
Oh, okay, maybe.
He has like auto filters and shit.
Ah.
Yeah, he
looks
does
like,
a bunch of charity work. He's doesn't really take political positions very often. He did support BLM, but yeah, he's setting himself up to make a run for president, basically, at this point.
Yeah,
maybe he has
I know-
abandoned that. He's been doing a lot of movie work, so I don't know. Maybe he's changed his mind, but...
I know, well, Rogan's talked about him potentially running several times.
Oh, really?
Over the years, yeah, that he would vote for him because he's got such a good workout ethic, I think.
He would be the first U.S. president that has taken gear definitively. Maybe others have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Teddy Roosevelt was definitely. I don't know if they had it back then, but if they did, Teddy Roosevelt would have definitely been taking it. What
And-
that Kennedy? You don't think Kennedy was taking it?
I think
He just wasn't working out with it.
I bet you all the modern presidents are on TRT because they're all old as fuck. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
not juicing. They're not juicing like this. They're not
No.
300 pounds. They don't live that long when they're 300 pounds. Of course, he's half Samoan, so maybe he's just big. Obviously, he's genetically gifted. So,
Yeah.
all right, one more. Let's do one more. Last one.
All right.
Feel patriotic about this.
According to Metro Police, Labeouf was asking the group seen here for a cigarette. When he was denied, officers say he became aggressive. When the officer tried to detain him in City Market, Labeouf takes off. But it doesn't take long for officers to track Labeouf down at the Andaz Hotel. There, Labeouf continues to berate officers.
What, sir? Let's go. Yo, you really got these cuffs on me heavy, bro. I'll fix it.
With profanity-laced
Yeah, that's what
rants
happens
against
to normal
the
people,
officers.
Shia.
Came up to you asking for a cigarette, you
Cops just throw him in cuffs and push him around. They don't give a fuck.
if I was racist.
The rant continues all the way to the Chatham County Detention Center, where multiple officers are needed to restrain Labeouf as he
Where they definitely don't take selfies with him.
Jesus Christ.
First of all, let me point out the fact that any normal person who fucking runs off like this, dude, maybe this had to have been a security guard, not a police, right?
Yeah, because that guy just like
Lets him
meanders
go
towards
and
him.
Doesn't shoot him.
Yeah.
I'm sure they know it's Shia LaBeouf, but
And he was drunk. He's already run from the cop. First off, I don't know why they don't have him strapped in the chair in booking. Strapped in a chair with a bag over his head.
oh
You know,
yeah.
that's-
The first
that's
time
what
they
the-
said fuck you, they would have beat the shit out of him for one. For
Yeah,
two,
beat the
he
shit
would've-
out of him.
They would have fucked him up for running off like this. They would have
Oh yeah.
chased his ass down if it was anybody else.
And as punishment, you get locked in the chair with a bag over your head for 12 hours or so. You know,
Yeah.
to teach you a lesson to chill out. You know, you were kind of dangerous. We were afraid you were going to spit at us. You'd been drinking.
They didn't want you to hurt yourself.
We didn't want you to hurt yourself. Shia LaBeouf.
Where is Shia LaBeouf on the spectrum?
Shia LaBeouf is my boy. I love Shia LaBeouf. One of my favorite movies that I probably won't watch again, Lawless, which is about a guy who is a moonshiner. And I identify with the illicit substances production trade. I also know that Shia LaBeouf is really artsy, which already points left. He's a little more artsy than other artsy people in his circle.
What are you trying to say about conservatives, Tony?
That they have no taste. Watch a Shia LaBeouf movie. Well, Shia LaBeouf movies aren't that great. But,
I hated
also
Transformers. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
it wasn't his
Transformers,
fault though. It wasn't his fault.
Transformers was not the best. But I also know that there was the Radiolab episode called, I think, Fuck Shia LaBeouf, or that was the premise of it, was that Shia LaBeouf had put on this this big performative thing where he was fighting back against Trump, and it was some self-absorbed actor bullshit where he was taking a stand for the little man. I guess he was espousing some left-wing views at the time, and there was basically a group of Reddit. He put a flag somewhere of an American flag with Shia LaBeouf puts an American flag with a camera on it somewhere, and Reddit gets together in all of its, or maybe it's 4chan gets together in all of its glory.
Let me play the clips.
Okay.
Before you get too far into it.
All right, yeah. He will not divide us. That's what it was.
Bang, bang. Hitler did nothing wrong.
This is what he got arrested for. The push.
Why did you attack me?
Huh.
Though this is how it started, just as a sort of demonstration that he live streamed, and then he spread it to the streaming thing. And of course, Joe Rogan defends the fucking Nazis, so let's play that clip. The 4chan Nazis start trolling him because they're Trumpists.
I mean, they have
So
stuff
I
on
support a
all
good
sorts of
troll.
different Radiolab removes its Truth Trolls episode from podcast feed.
Yeah, this wasn't. I was trying to find the actual.
Does it say why?
Yeah, they posted a reason why, and this isn't theirs. Hold on a second.
Well, what? But it's saying that they removed it, right?
That was someone wrote an article.
Well, obviously they removed it. Oh, editorial. Radiolab has decided to take down this episode. Some listeners called us out, saying that in telling the capture the flag story in the way that we did, we essentially condone some pretty despicable ideology and behavior. Oh, come on. To all the listeners who felt that way and everyone else, please know that we hear you and that we take these criticisms to heart. I feel awful that the things we said could be interpreted that way. That's on us. It was certainly not our intention, and we apologize. Come on, folks. You guys are missing the humor of this. These aren't despicable people. They are saying things that are ridiculous because it's funny. Like, there's a lot of people.
So sure, there was a larger effort by 4chan to find the location of this flag. And what they did, you're right, they finally found it through this coordinated effort, and they said fuck Shia LaBeouf when they found it.
Yeah. They found it by tracking the stars at a certain time. They also would see flights flying over and crossed references to like, okay, they were able to spot like, okay, this is heading at this trajectory at this time. Where's this at? All right, it must be this flight. And it was amazing how they found it. They had somebody drive around honking the horn of their car while everyone was listening through the live stream. And finally they got close enough to where they could hear the honking in the live stream. And the guy found it. Fuck Shia LaBeouf. Throws the flag down.
I never heard that episode of Radiolab, unfortunately. I guess it was deleted and didn't show up on my feed or whatever. But obviously, the finding the flag and all that stuff is cool. I'm sure that's what the Radiolab episode was about. But
yeah, it was.
The trolling initially started with these fucking 4chan Nazis, dude. God. Fucking Nazis, bro.
Are they Nazis or are they just trolls?
Well, they were all fucking white as hell. I don't care. You can't troll about murdering fucking 20 million. You can't... Dude, they murdered fucking socialists, communists, Jews, gypsies, fucking Slavs, all Slavs, including Polish Slavs.
What if the joke is really funny though?
Oh, dude, Dachau, concentration camp. I've read too much of this shit, dude. I can't deal with it.
Okay.
Horrific, dude. It's not cool to like, because it starts as a joke and then it, spirals into fucking.
I think.
Where's Shia LaBeouf on the spectrum? Back to the original question.
Okay, Shia LaBeouf is trying to think of a politician to put him next to. He's very,
publicly endorsed one politician in his career.
Okay, I'm not aware of that. I'm basically the extent of my knowledge about Shia LaBeouf is this incident and watching Lawless twice.
I have to check that out. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. So he's definitely a lefty. I imagine that he cares a lot more about cultural issues than economic issues. I'm going to put him like a social justice warrior. Oh, who's a real social justice warrior-y person in politics?
Coates?
Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm thinking like he's like a jacked AOC. That's what I'm going to say. Jacked AOC. It's not really that concerned with helping out unions.
Well, you're on the right side of the spectrum, a little bit off on the materialist analysis there. He openly supported Jeremy Corbyn as the only politician who he supported in his career, who is famously not interested in cultural issues. He's a strict he's a democratic socialist in the true sense of the word. So
awesome.
He's a smart guy, dude.
I like Shia even more now, but it was funny. It was funny what 4chan did to you.
I mean, sure. All right. I think it was pretty good, but man, the Nazi stuff I can't condone. Of course, I have to close with the best Shia LaBeouf clip of all time here for the ladies and gentlemen to get them pumped up. And this is the original version of this before it's been memified. All right, get hype, Tony. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Classic meme. Still good as hell.
Dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
He's all spitting and shit.
Oh, that's so good.
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
Classic. Gosh. You did very well. I think you nailed pretty much all of them except for Labeouf, and you were close on Labeouf, so.
Well.
Very knowledgeable about the celebrities, Tony.
Very knowledgeable. I pretend like I'm not, but it fascinates me. I always stop when there's an article about them and then bitch at other people for being enraptured with celebrity culture. Why do you follow that crap? Did you hear what Kanye said?